Mr. MC, Program Director, ladies and gentlemen, I am very honored to be here today to deliver this talk on this very important day, Mandela Day. In my work at Robben Island, I have been fortunate enough to have been able to meet Mr. Nelson Mandela at least 3 times. In fact, I had even met him once before I joined Robben Island Museum. Just to clarify, it's not like meeting him on a one-on-one basis. It's obviously about meeting him whereby he was present in a group of people where I was also there, and obviously one managed to shake hands with him and be able to exchange a word or two with him. Obviously it was quite inspiring, and I'm very fortunate that I've been able to meet the man of the caliber of Nelson Mandela. One has obviously to thank the Robben Island Museum for these kind of opportunities. It is actually precisely for my experience at Robben Island Museum that I feel very honored, and I feel very close to the call to come and address you on this very important day. I have chosen a particular theme to try and deliver a particular message of inspiration to you, and I hope you will be able to walk home with something that you can say, I managed to take away from Shoni's talk. My theme today is I'm really just looking at the words Mandela, and I'm using those 7 letters to try and deliver a message of inspiration to you. So, what are the letters in this word Mandela? Is it M? Okay. I'm fortunate enough to be able to communicate or to converse in all 11 languages of this country, plus sign language. So, this will be M for you, right? All right? And this will be A for you, right? And this will be N, D, E, L, A. So, what is my message today for you? My message for you is, if you are trying to meet, or rather, trying to make your dreams come true, what are the key important things that you should take into cognizance? So the message that I want to deliver to you today is the fact that it is very important for you to have a mission, that is to know who you are, where you are going in life. From there, I'm going to talk to you about the importance of having the right attitude in terms of who you are and where you are going in life. I'm also going to talk about the necessity to really focus and not be distracted in the choice of where you are trying to go, and that is to navigate in the right direction. I'm going to talk also about the necessity for you to have the absolute desire from the heart and the passion in terms of the dream that you've chosen for yourself. I'm going to emphasize the necessity to listen, and ultimately the importance of putting into action the things that actually encompasses your dream. Are you aware of what I'm going to be talking to you about in terms of the M's up to the A? So basically, I'm hoping that if we can make it memorable for you, it will be what? It will be M for mission, A for attitude, N for navigate, D for desire, E for emancipate, L for listen, and A for action. Does that resonate with you? Let's talk about mission. Mission really is where you are going in life, who you are and what your purpose are. You see, the challenge in most people in terms of how we go about defining our mission and who we are and where we're going, really the challenge is what informs the decision for you to decide who you are and where you are going. And what do? In most cases, people say, well, he's very good at maths. He's better become an engineer. Somebody says, well, he's very good at maths. He must become an architect. Somebody says, he's very good at maths. He must become a doctor. But somebody says, but oh no, he's also very good in history. I think he must become a history teacher. So you actually are listening at all these noises. And sometimes some of these things, as you're listening them, influence the choices that you end up making. So the other day you think you're going to be an agriculturalist, The other day you want to be a biologist, you're going to be a doctor, and you are confused. You are listening to all these stories. Another way is sometimes we look at other people and see them, succeeding or failing. And you start believing, well, such and such is a doctor. I think I can also make it. This one is an engineer. I think I can also make it. So there's a lot of noises that actually come in your way of trying to define who you are and the mission. The most important thing, obviously, is that you need to be able to sift some of these noises in your path to try of defining who you are. I myself, in terms of having a mission, I did not necessarily start knowing where I will be in life or where I was going. In fact, some of the studies that I've done, even at school, have got nothing to do with the kind of things that I'm currently doing now. So it is not necessarily a clear-cut, path. Sometimes you will be distracted a little bit, but the most important is to what? To stay true to who you think you are and where you are going. I'm not going to go into the details of some of the studies that I did, but at least I can share with you some of the obstacles that I encountered in the path of trying to fulfill my mission. I remember a few days ago, or not a few days ago actually, a few years ago when I was young, like some of you, when I was actually trying to pursue a particular study, working in a company, and be promised that we are actually going to pay for your fees. And somewhere in the middle of my studies, I was told, you know what? We don't think we should pay for your fees anymore because you're already qualified more than 70% of the managers in this country. And then what happened? I was very clear to say, you are not going to stand between me and my studies. And I decided that I was not going to stop. And of course, what happened was life was made a bit difficult for me, and I left that company. But I stayed true to my cause. In the end, I was able to meet the objectives of my studies and continued and carry on despite some of these challenges. There are a number of things that I can share with you in terms of being able to define your mission and staying to the course. We are done with the M. Let's talk about the attitude. One of the challenges that people have in terms of attitude is to start your dream with the feeling that it's actually very daunting, it's very difficult. And you actually adopt an attitude that I'm going to try. You see, it's difficult. I'm going to try. And then, of course, you also deal with a lot of self-doubt where you do not believe in yourself. And you allow all sorts of noises of people who have failed and to say, well, if such and such couldn't make it, why, who am I? Where am I to make it? Is such and such, business collapsed? I think this thing is a very difficult terrain. So you tell yourself all these things and you put big obstacles in your way to success. You lack self-belief, you have low self-confidence, and in the end, you just have that negative attitude. So what am I trying to say to you? I'm saying that you need to have a can-do attitude when it comes to your dream. You have to have the passion that allows you to have the dream that says, this is possible, this is doable. You also need to adopt a positive talk to yourself about who you are, where you are going on a daily basis. You need to develop that positive inspiration message to yourself that where I'm going is the right place for me, and where I'm going, I'll get there one day. So that is the attitude that you have to adopt. Let's get to the whole issue of navigating. What is to navigate? Navigating really, if I can try and put it in simple words, it's almost like you are steering a ship, let's say in the water. And in most cases, when you are navigating, you also have got the right, tools and instruments to guide you, to tell you, is the weather conditions right? Amongst, the tools that help you to steer the ship in the right direction. But in most cases, when we say you are navigating, it's usually also under difficult conditions. It's not a clear-cut issue. So you have to be very disciplined, and you have to plan, and you have to direct your ship in the right direction. That is what we talk about navigating. Now, the same can be said about when you are trying to meet your goals in life. There will be a lot of things that will actually distract you. I've already talked about some noises that can come into the equation. Imagine if you have decided that, you want to become a medical doctor, and all of a sudden, the other day, you meet somebody who's a lawyer. All of a sudden, oh, sorry, you've changed, you want to become a lawyer. Or before you realize, now you've met somebody who's a theologist, who's a priest. Oops, no, you're changing. Oh, now you want to become a theologist, In other words, you need to, once you've defined your dream, to be very clear where you are going and to not be distracted and to stay to the course. Let's get to the desire. There is no way that you can actually meet your dreams if you do not have the deep desire to succeed, which comes from the heart. And in other words, you shouldn't just do things because you've seen other people doing it. You should be able to know, why do you want to do it? How many times have I been told that, you look like a professor? And that doesn't mean that I have to now become a professor because somebody says I look like one. One has to say, do I feel like wanting to be one? So it has to be the deep desire within you that actually ultimately leads to what you want to do. It has to have a meaning for you. So there has to be that deep desire and that deep passion, that comes from you and from within. Let's talk about emancipation, to emancipate yourself. So we are always faced with obstacles, self-doubt, not believing in ourselves. So I'm saying to you that you need to free yourself from limiting beliefs, the beliefs that I can't do it, I don't think it's possible. You must free yourself. If you don't free yourself from limiting beliefs, you will forever, do mundane things that do not lead you to the big dreams that you are aspiring to. So you need to find that belief in yourself so that you are ultimately free. Do you know that other people can actually try to free you, but for as long as you are not free in yourself, you are not going to break free and you are not going to move out of the limiting beliefs. I want now to talk about the whole issue of listening, which is a very difficult terrain because, in today's world, we are faced with a lot of information that is coming right, left, and center. Some of these noises actually is so confusing, could lead you to making terrible, horrible decisions. So yes, you must listen to family members, you must listen to friends, you must listen to MSc College, you must listen to Damelin, you must listen to, Services CETA, you must listen to NYDA, you must listen to all this. But of course, sometimes you get a bit confused, it's too much information, okay? But listen, you must, because without that information, you will not be able to sift through the various choices that you have to make. So you need to listen to those who are, there to guide you as mentors or those who have achieved. But you know what? The most important thing or the most important person to also listen to is yourself. You need to listen to yourself. You need to listen to that voice within so that you can actually interrogate yourself. Is this the path for me? The most important thing is the fact that you might have the right mission, you might have the right attitude, you might think that you are navigating in the right direction, you might have the desire, you might free yourself from limiting beliefs and emancipate yourself, you might listen, but you know what? There's just one thing that if you do not do, you are still not going to get there. And that is what? That is to put into action all these dreams, these visions, this mission. If you do not put these things into action, you won't get there. Many people have got beautiful, wonderful dreams, mission, vision, whatever you call it. But what is the problem? No action for implementation. So if you do not put that action for implementation, you are not going to get there. If you come to places like this and listen to Shoni talking and inspiring you and listen to her talking about NYDA and listen to MSc and to Damelin and feel a bit inspired, and you go out. And when you go out, you just think, oh, wow, what a wonderful day. And then you go and braai, and before that, you're dancing, and then you wake up the following day, Monday, you go back to doing the very same things that you do all the time. And you do not take up your dreams. You've been given information about bursaries, you've been given various information. And you just think, oh, it was wonderful, his talk was beautiful, but you don't do something about it. If you don't do something about it and put it in action, you are still not going to make it. So in a nutshell, on this beautiful, wonderful day, without wanting to waste your time and making you listen to me for speeches and all that, I am hoping that we have managed to honor Mandela in Mandela's Day and look at the 7 letters in his word and at least be able to come up with something that will inspire us. If there's anything that I hope you can take away, it is this message that you have to look after those particular 7 pillars in order to enable your dreams. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? Sometimes you might feel that you are in shackles. You have been enchained. However, most of these shackles, most of these chains are just really in our mind. They are just mental chains. But even if they were physical chains, sometimes you can actually use these physical chains to free yourself. So if I have managed to convince you, if I have managed to share the tools with you, the tools of liberating yourself and go and follow your dreams, this should be the day. Ladies and gentlemen, I am inspired by you. I am Shoni Khangala. I would like you to enable your dreams. Thank you very much.